UMass Minutemen, okay? So you go back to last year, weren't expected to do all that much. Then all of a sudden, they get the double bye, Coach, and the 4th seed in the A10 tournament. Not a bad year there for head coach Frank Martin and company.
11 conference wins was a big accomplishment. I think that also the buzz around UMass, obviously I had the experience of being in that building when it was led by the great showman and great coach in John Calipari. So Frank Martin is the right guy, is certainly the right guy for the UMass program. Rasul Diggins, most improved player, went to UConn, out of Philly, went to UConn, didn't play much, most improved player in the Atlantic, and now you look at it and he's a preseason all-league player.
Right.
Speaks volumes about their player development, Ice.
Yeah, team-wise, there are several different things to look for UMass in the preseason. Coach, you talked about the finish that they had last year. They returned 7 players from last year's squad, and so hopefully you get a good core nucleus that's going to stay. They do, though, have 10 newcomers, my goodness, but their incoming class is ranked 4th according to 24/7 Sports, and so they're bringing in some good guys, some young guys that hopefully can get some experience right away and get on the court and make a contribution.
Yeah, Dickens had preseason 3rd-team selection for UMass here as we continue on a media day. You say the right guy for the program with Frank Martin, right? I mean, you need that these days, right? I know, Coach, you've seen it, okay, overall in the grand scheme of the landscape of coaching, how it's changed and how you can kind of talk to your guys a little bit. I feel like Frank's kind of still that old school that is able to do that where players aren't like offended. You know, they're like, no, I want to work hard. I want to play for this guy.
But the thing that we miss sometimes, Mike, is this. Like, well, did he ever? Yeah, the answer with Frank Martin is yes, he did. He went to the Final Four from a football school.
Yeah.
Right? He went out of the SEC. Every single night, banging and banging and banging. And I know Frank's story. He was going to take the year off, and this opportunity came along, and he's going to make the most of it. And look, I guess it's the elephant in the room or the monkey on our back or whatever. Yeah, they're moving conferences. Frank's not going out without leaving his mark on the Atlantic 10.
Right. How about on the women's side? Nice.
Yeah, UMass women's basketball, they're picked preseason number 13. It's been a couple of tough seasons for them. I think back-to-back. Head coach Mike Lefflar is in his 2nd season as the head coach. He was there several years before as the assistant. I enjoyed talking to him about what to expect from his team this season. Bigger, stronger, faster. They really want to focus on those 3 areas. They've earned their first A10 tournament championship couple of years ago, so they know what it takes to win. But again, I think it's just getting their roster to mesh well together. They're bringing in some newcomers. They're bringing in some different players that come from, Ole Miss, that also come from Drexel as well, Villanova. And so they've got some local players that are coming and adding to their team. But I just think that this team needs to have the right mindset to start the season, which is to get better every single opportunity you have on the court. That's been consistent for Mike Lefflar.
Coach, I'm just going to ask you about this just because most people know. I mean, I went there. I'm an alum of that school. I understood what it was like. My freshman year, we went to the Final Four with Calipari, who you mentioned. Obviously, the fan base and support is key. I mean, they've got a 10,000-seat arena almost. I was there for a game last year against St. Bonaventure where it was the largest crowd they had in 10 years, and you can sense the energy. I mean, you get that from your fans. I hate to hear, well, when you win, they'll come. It's like, no, how about I need you to come to help us win? You know what I mean? Well, what's that like in terms of what would you say to the fan base, for UMass Athletics? I'm like, hey, we got something going here, but we need your support now, not when we win.
No, there's no question that the home court advantage in this league is a big deal. And it left. It left, right? And I think that the toughness with which they play, the style where there's a quote in the summer from Frank that we play for each other. Mm-hmm. That has to include the fan base. It just absolutely positively has to include the fan base. And getting it back is going to be slow and steady. Frank's the right guy to do that.
Well, and I also also think in terms of building fan base, this is where NIL becomes so important, right? That when players are able to do appearances in town, go to certain events, they're able to meet the actual people that are coming to games, right? I appreciated preseason and games when it was the same 10 people that were sitting, courtside, right? You give high fives before every game, you build relationships. That's how you get more people into the door. And so it'll be a challenge for them as well, just to see if their athletes can go out to the community a little bit more and start to build those relationships.
Frank Martin's been doing it. He said it too. He's all over it. We need to do this together. So we'll see what happens this year. Let's hear from them now at the podium, the UMass Minutemen.
We got guys that, like in Rasul, I get to coach them for a third year, which is one of the joys of coaching basketball, or any sport for that matter, is watching people that come in as kids and they leave as young men prepared to deal with life and whatever is in front of them. And I've seen that from Rasul, and excited for our team. I think we're good, we're big, we're long, we're athletic. We got leadership, we've got guys that are eager and humble to be a part of what we're doing, and I'm excited to take on this upcoming season with the guys we got.
Thanks, Coach. We'll open up to questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone to you.
Frank, back here. I know, you talked about being long and athletic at this point. Do you feel like this is a team that reminds you of a fair number of teams that you've had at past stops?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we're the #1 offensive team in the A-10 last year, but our defense was below the standards of what we as a staff like to have and how we played hard. We wanted to win. We tried everything we could, but we had some defensive limitations, and I think we corrected that in recruiting. We've got depth and athleticism on the front line. We've got probably my most physical team since the late teens, as far as 17, 18, 19, right in there. I'm excited. I'm excited for the depth, anytime you return your guards, Jalen Curry, Rasul Diggins, and they're both really good players, you got a chance. And now we've got 3 6'11" guys, and all 3 of them are going to help us in different ways. We've got Daniel Rivera and Daniel Hankins Sanford, 2 guys that are both in that 6'7", 235-pound range that are ferocious as they rebound the ball and protect the rim and attack the rim. It's if I was in the SEC or the Big 12, the 2 leagues that I've had to build programs in to compete, I'd be really excited to go in those leagues with this group of guys.
Chris Powell, Couch Coach Live. Coach, I know you talked about the depth on your team. Talk about the actual depth of this of the A-10 conference in this whole.
Well, we had to upgrade recruiting because of that. This league, top to bottom, it's really, really hard. It's the coaches. Think about the coaches in this league, whether it's Anthony Grant, who I've known since we were kids, or it's Chris Mooney or Mark Schmidt or Archie Miller. Just keep going. The depth of the coaches in this league is absurd, and then the players. And it's hard. This league is it's really, really difficult to sustain winning in this league.
Russell, Zach Weiss, Pittsburgh Sports Now. If I could ask you about that defensive standard, what has it been like being more intentional and intense on that defensive end, and how you've challenged your teammates to do the same?
We've been focusing on defense, just wanting us to build up pressure so we can get out and run. I think last year we had a lot of trouble defending the bounce and protecting the rim. I think this year we've gotten a lot better at doing that with the guys we brought in, and just us giving better effort and actually focusing on the detail of defense.
Michael Bergman, A10 Talk. Rasul, you entered your 3rd season here at UMass, and getting into you and Jalen Curry kind of anchoring the backcourt. What does it say about you guys coming off a really strong season, you being most improved player in the league and Jalen Curry being first-team All-Rookie, kind of growing there together now in the backcourt, either taking on new responsibilities? What does that say about the type of leadership that Frank trusts you with, and what do you see kind of as your role in this team moving forward as UMass's kind of final year in the league here?
My role on the team, I see myself as a leader. I think guards as a whole on the team, we have to always be ready to go because that's who it starts with, us. Defensive end, even offensively. So I think me and Jay Curry, our competitive spirit, and the guards behind us also, we make everything work because we go so hard at each other and make each other better.
Coach, we've talked about the depth. If you can talk about some of these new players and who really has stood out that you feel can make an impact on day one.
Yeah, when that season finished, that's you used to have player meetings to figure out what they were not as good at, so you can help them improve on and move forward. Now our player meetings is figure out who's staying, who's leaving, which I'm being funny, but it's the truth of the moment. And like Rasul comes in and he says, I just want a chance. Let me compete at point guard again, because I didn't let him compete at point guard last year. And I think it helped him, but now he's better prepared to take on that challenge. So once I was at peace with the guys coming back, the one thing that we struggled at last year was protecting the rim defensively. We were the #1 post offense in the country, but we were not very good at protecting the rim defensively. Why? The rules have changed. You can't take charges anymore. They're doing everything they can to outlaw the charge. Well, we weren't very long and athletic at the 3, 4, and 5. So we struggle with blocking shots and contesting shots at the rim. Well, we went out, we signed Daniel Rivera. Daniel Rivera is a proven shot blocker. He blocked more shots than our whole team by himself at Bryant College. And then to that you add Malek Abdelgawad, who brings in size and experience, and who's, after 2 weeks of practice, he's going to protect that basket. You add Shahid Muhammad, who led junior college basketball and block shots. Daniel Sanford is a year older, a year better prepared to take on those responsibilities. So now we've created the size and athleticism that we need, because guarding the bounce was hard in 1975, and it's even harder now because now teams play differently on offense. But as a player, when you know the guy behind you has your back and can block a shot and change that possession, you have a lot more confidence at doing your job on the perimeter, and I think we'll get there as a team.
Aaron Bracey from Big5Hoops.com in Philly. This question is for Rasul. A general question, you mentioned you're the A10 most improved player, so I'm wondering, what about your game are you even working on to improve this year even more? And a Philly-specific question is, have you been talking to Justin Moore about going head-to-head with your Archbishop Wood buddy?
Honestly, I've been focusing on trying to get better at defense because that's what can help the team. Offensively, just trying to get more downhill. I know I can shoot the ball, so just me getting more paint touches, collapsing the defense, kicking it out, doing things like that. And to answer the Justin Moore question, yeah, I talked to him, and we'll see him soon. I'm not sure when we play Loyola, but yeah, that's fun. That'll be fun too.
All right, thank you, Rasul and Coach Martin. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's recap the UMass Minutemen there with Frank Martin and Rasul Diggins. I know you talked about Diggins, Coach. Now this is the fit for him, right?
This is it. This is a big deal to have this wonderful opportunity. And again, what I'm amazed at with all these young people is how calm they are, right? It's not like, hey, I'm missing class. It's just a calm to it because they decided to stay, right? They all decided. Almost every one of these guys had a chance to kind of move on. Robbie early on with St. Louis, he moved on, but he sat with the same coach. We need to make sure that these young people are calm so that they can be the best version of themselves.
Yeah, the word that I've learned recently, Coach, is psychological safety. When you create a psychologically safe environment for your players as a coach, then they're comfortable asking questions, they're comfortable challenging teammates, they're comfortable being challenged and receiving criticism because they feel safe at the opportunity to learn, to ask questions. So psychological safety, I think, is what you're talking about.
Well, it's a really big deal. And this is for all of us. This is for anybody watching, anybody who's going to watch a game this year. If every day you don't learn and teach, then you haven't had a great day.
Yeah.
But if you can learn and teach in the same day, you've had a great day.
Frank Martin is with us right now here. Coach, thanks so much. Good to talk to you. And look, this has been awesome for what you've done with this program, right? I mean, last year you bring this team up to a number 4 seed in the tournament. You've got this culture and identity going now. I want to ask you about, like, what are you saying to the players where they should almost be trying to live up to some higher expectations that you've now set for this program?
Hey, Mike, great being here with you. I think I heard Martelli in the background. I mean, holy cow, that's Martelli. I got to be careful what I say to you now. But no, I'm excited about the fact that I got my 2 guards. In a moment where we're all worried about transfers and all the new guys and, whatever other negativity we can be worried about, I'm excited that I got 7 returning players. I mean, I'm going to coach Rasul Diggins for the 3rd year. He knows me like a book. I know him like a book. We don't have to challenge each other anymore for the little things. We're past those days, and he's helping me and helping Jalen Curry. And Jalen Curry's a really, really good point guard. And in college basketball, anytime you got 2 guards like them, your team has a chance. And we've tried to identify the necessities to make us a more complete team through recruiting. And I'm fortunate that one of the transfers we brought in played for Phil's son, Phil Jr., and they did an unbelievable job with him, and that guy is really prepared to come in and have success at UMass and playing for us, and because he's accepted coaching where he was at before, and it's I'm extremely lucky right now. I have a team like the one we have.
Frank, it's Phil. Great to see you, my man. Frank, in today's environment, what are you doing to keep your focus and then your team's focus on this day and this task? There's a lot of other things going on, but it's today. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, Phil, it's one of the things I speak to our players about a lot is back when you and I both first started, the easy thing to do was to keep the noise away from the locker room. Well, that's impossible to do in today's day and age. So we got to spend a lot of time talking to our players. Like I tell our staff, we have to communicate with every one of our guys about something every single day. If we don't, someone else is. So we can't get mad when they listen to somebody else. So giving our players our individual attention is the off-the-court stuff. On the court, I'm a big believer in keeping their focus on what's relevant, what's going to make them better. We used to just do what we were told because that's what we did. Now you have to show them the picture as how their life is going to get better. And you got to make them see where they fit in that picture so they can continue to stay the course. And the challenge I've laid for our guys is we've gone from bottom of the league to 4th. Well, it's hard to do, but we did it. Well, now going from 4 to 1, that's really, really hard. That's the challenge that needs even more attention to detail, more commitment, more thick skin to be able to handle that, and it needs leadership and it needs character, and that's what we focus to do to try and approach this coming year.
Coach, you've acknowledged the improvement that needs to happen defensively this season. You've acknowledged that you brought in some shot blockers as well to protect the paint. Does this change what you're telling your guards to do, though, defensively? Should we expect to see more ball pressure, knowing that you have rim protectors behind you to back them up?
Yeah, it's guarding the basketball was hard when, 1975. I mean, can you imagine how much fun it must have been to guard Delonte West and my man that played for Phil back in the day? That's always been impossible to do. If you got no rim protection, then now the guards are even more gun shy with getting out there and competing because there's really difficult. Our guys last year gave us everything we could ask of them. But they've tried that. We were really good offensively. We're #1 post offense in the country. We're the leading scoring team in the A-10. But defensively, we had some challenges at protecting the rim. Well, the rules have outlawed the charge play. They've changed everything around where taking charges is bad. So whether people agree with that or don't, that's a different conversation. So we had to change that. Well, Daniel Rivera blocked more shots at Bryant College than our whole team did combined. So now we've added him. We added Shaheed Muhammad. Shaheed Muhammad led junior college basketball in dunks and block shots. So now we've got that persona behind the defense when we're on offense and behind the offense when we're on defense. And then you add a young man in Malek Abdel-Gawad, who's a size that plays with tremendous physicality, that understands. He's a grown man. He's played international basketball, played college basketball. He understands how to protect the rim. So now your guards get more confident that even when they get beat, they don't have to commit a foul. They don't have to scramble. They just got to keep playing because they got coverage behind them.
Coach, thanks so much for your time. Looking forward to seeing you this upcoming season. Enjoy the rest of the day here in D.C.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, Phil, got to get one in New York.
Come on, man. Why did he do that to me, Mike? Why did he do that to me? Aaron Nola got to come up big on Wednesday or
right?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. I'm going to be in the bank on Friday for Game 5.
He's talking Phillies Mets for those of you out there, but yeah, good win for the Phillies yesterday. But it's great stuff, you know, and he's right. I mean, there are some changes within the game these days, right, Coach? I mean, let's take it from your perspective, from when you started to where it is now. What do you have to do to your players to say, hey, man, we're not just able to run over and take a charge anymore? Like, there's some more techniques that need to be taught, right? We go back to fundamentals. I mean, let's not forget fundamentals, which certainly is a huge teaching point, and just making your players better.
You know, and I know that I missed this in my research here, but they were the #1 offensive team. That bodes well for the future, because taking out the charge, yes, it was player safety. Yes, it was take a little bit of the burden off an impossible game to referee anyway. But people want to see scoring, right? Like ESPN wants teams to score. Take out the charge, but you can replace that with shot blocking. Every guy that he mentioned, Ice, shot blocker, rim protector. So you can push up on the ball, and now the guy goes to the basket. You go vertical. You either block the shot or go vertical without fouling.